What up, world, and welcome to another edition of the Living the Dream podcast. It's your favorite day of the week. It's hump day, and it's time to get that midweek motivation. It's your motivator, your inspirator, Coach Spaulding. And as always, I want to give a huge shout out to all the listeners for all the love and the support on the podcast. Guys, I thank y'all, man. I appreciate y'all. And if you have not done so already, please go ahead and click that subscribe button so that you never miss a motivational episode. Thank y'all, man. All right, so let's jump right into this thing. So today we're talking about overcoming the fear of rejection. Like, I get it. Rejection hurts. But to be honest with you, there's no way around it. There is no way around it. It is a part of life. It is a way of life. It is something that we all will experience, and it is something that we all have to prepare ourselves for. Like, we don't take advantage of things in life because we're afraid of someone saying no to us. Or we don't take advantage of things in life because we're afraid of not being accepted. But I'm going to tell you like this. My mentor, Les Brown, says it all the time. The graveyard is the richest place on earth because it's full of dreams, ideas, books, hopes, desires that never got activated because of fear. Can you imagine that? Like, how heartbreaking would that be to be sitting on your deathbed thinking about all the things you didn't try because of fear? Because of fear, guys. You know, they say the number one regret of most people laying on their deathbed is not living the life that was true to themselves, but living their lives to please other people. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine being on your deathbed and all you thinking about is how you never was able to act on any of the things that you wanted to do as far as goals, dreams, and aspirations because you're too busy trying to please other people? So let's make sure we live out our full potential. Let's make sure we live out our hopes, dreams, and desires so that we don't have to experience that. All right, so principle number one, in order to make that happen, you have to be self-aware. You have to be self-aware. Like, when you take yourself out of your head, when you're looking at your actions and your decisions, you can start to inventory what you're doing that's keeping you from living your full potential. You have to self-evaluate. You have to know who you are and what you're doing in order to make the corrections. So let me make this practical. I'm not asking my teacher for help because I'm afraid of being rejected. What's the worst that can happen in this situation? Your teacher not being available when you are? Or how about this? I'm not taking the action in my business because I'm afraid of being rejected. What's the worst that can happen? Like, you not securing the client because you didn't speak up. Like, when you start being more self-aware, you ask yourself, what is the worst that can happen to me in this situation? Because most of the time, what you're worried about is not that big of a deal. It's not that deep. Because it ultimately boils down to, I don't want to do this thing because I don't want to be rejected. You don't want to do something because you don't want to be rejected. But when you are fully aware of why you do something, what needs to change is easier to figure out. Especially if what you're doing goes against you reaching your full potential. All right, so let's go to principle number two. Face your fears. Sure, if you don't put yourself out there, you won't experience rejection, but you probably won't achieve your goals either. So going for what you want gives you the chance to experience success. You might experience rejection, but then again, you might not. You never know. You don't know if you'll be rejected. You don't know if you'll be successful, but it's important that you take action to find out for yourself. Taking action helps you overcome your fears. Every time you do something new, you expand your comfort zone just a little bit. Like, you expand your comfort zone just a little bit. And as your mind expands, as your comfort zone expands, you are more willing to do things that benefit you in life. I remember I was scared to go to college. I'll be honest with you, not scared because I didn't think that I would make it happen, but none of my parents graduated from high school. So going to college was a little scary to me. But when I went and finished, I saw how it benefited my life. And I went and got my master's. And when I got that, I saw how that benefited my life. What that did was build resilience. Resilience comes from facing your fears. You become better than your surroundings and transition yourself above the fear and into success. Resilience starts with you, and it starts in the mind. So face your fears and learn to rise to face whatever it is in front of you. All right, so that brings me to principle number 3. Remember that it happens to everyone. Guys, listen, I told you, rejection happens to everybody. Rejection is a universal experience. And fear of rejection is very common. Most people experience rejection over things both big and small. A friend ignoring a message about hanging out, being turned down for a date, a long-term friend leaving you for someone else. Like, it never feels good when something doesn't happen the way you wanted it to. But not all things in life turn out the way that you hope. Reminding yourself that rejection is just a normal part of life, something everybody will face at some point, may help you fear it less. Guys, that means it'll help you fear rejection less when you understand that you're not the only one that this has happened to. You're not the only one that didn't pass an exam. You're not the only one that didn't graduate on time. You're not the only one who's been turned down on a date. You're not the only one who's been left for somebody else. And I'll be honest with you guys, I got turned down to speak at schools, conferences, and universities. Now I got options on where I want to speak. I didn't let my fear of rejection hinder my next opportunity. It's just a normal part of life. It's just a normal part of life. Like, how you handle it will determine your next move. So when we're trying to overcome the fear of rejection, we should first be self-aware. When you're aware of what you're doing, then you know what to change. And also take action. You might experience rejection, but then again, you might not. Take action anyway. And last, remember, rejection happens to everybody. Remind yourself that rejection is just a normal part of life that'll help you fear it less. Again, it's your motivator, your inspirator, Coach Spaulding, saying have a great rest of the week and make the rest of your life the best of your life.